What's up? I am, as most people probably know already, Kelso. I'm the drummer for What If We Die We Scatter. I have a tendency to talk to myself a great deal in between activities, is pacing around smoking cigarettes, and so I figured it'd probably be more objectively valuable to create something in that time. I was thinking today, we just finished our first tour. It's been 12 shows, and we've been on it for 6 months maybe total. And it was our first tour, but I learned a lot from it about musical community, and I think what people actually want from live music. For some time, I mean, the classic paradigm of four people playing music together, it still means a lot to most people, but it's arguably irrelevant to the music community as a whole. In the modern time, I've always said, rock and roll is dead, objectively. That can be argued, but I've always felt like rock and roll is dead in the way that Obi-Wan Kenobi was dead. You know what I mean? I definitely, it's not what it was, but it's still in you somewhere. It's still talking to you. That's just the way it goes. But I think that people have kind of lost a bit of the passion for it in the long run, because it's become almost too streamlined and too careful. And music culture is dominated by this system of perfectionism, and I think that may very well have always been the case, but in the social media age and whatnot, bands lose a lot of personality by constructing their image too powerfully. It's like they're not people anymore. It's like they're performing, but not having any fun, or not doing the things that they're doing for the intrinsic value of those things, but rather than to watch your band exist as an audience member rather than actually being in that band. Now, people construe that sort of thing a lot of different ways, but I've certainly felt that. It was driven home to me after this last tour, so I'm starting to think maybe the only way that rock music in and of itself can be made to continue to have intrinsic creative value is in those live performances, man. I mean, I know I'm talking props, I'm talking theatrics, I'm talking those projectors and shit and antics and crowd involvement. Being a musician now has been discouraging for a long time, because you go to these shows and people aren't doing anything. They're standing there, and was very much one of those people, for a very long time, up until this week. But it's kind of discouraging, as a musician, to know that when you go and do what it is that you're doing, do your life's goal, people are just going to be standing there staring at you, feeling nothing. Or if they do feel it, they're too afraid to act on it. It's I guess it's comparable to a lot of things, but nobody wants to be the first person dancing at homecoming. You know what I mean? But as soon as you do, it snowballs. People start having fun. They'll start doing it. It builds, and then you've actually done something that meant something and felt good. And that's the whole point of playing music and going to these shows, is because we don't feel connected to ourselves anymore. Having that thought process of, is it possible for an adult to have the fun they would have had when they were a child without chemical assistance? I've always wondered that, and it haunted me in a way. But it is so unbelievably possible, because people refuse to do it. And they're not refusing in the sense that they don't think about it. It's fucking scary. Having fun, putting yourself on the line like that, it's terrifying. Especially if you've grown up in a family or in an environment that kind of reacted to you more like they were annoyed or uncomfortable, that builds its way into your psychology. So I think that's the sort of thing that needs to be reversed, and what better to do it than with music like that, something that is such a complex, abstract language that through lyrics you're able to convey ideas, and the music you're able to convey just emotion, something that's difficult in regular language. But it is the one way that you can most take a snapshot of the inside of your mind and share it with someone else. It's the only way to be as accurate as possible. We just got to make this shit fun again, man. This shit needs to be fun for all of us, and like, I don't know. I understand where people come from, though. Like I said, life tends to feel like a bit of a whirlwind, and you can lose sight of certain things. But maybe I'm starting to think that, yeah, if we could bring that fun back and that passion, music would be fun again. You know, rock music, like, it's not dying because it doesn't have fans, or it's not objectively quality music. It's just because people are afraid to put their hearts out there, and let's do it together. You know what I mean? I'm not telling anyone to go out there and just do something. That's not an order. It's like, I'm right there with you. Like, we all have a responsibility to keep that alive, and we can do it together. We can stop listening to bands or knowing of bands, and not disliking them even as people, but it becomes so easy to satire and in a way make fun of music you don't respond to, that you end up disliking people by proxy. You know, like, you are not aiming anything you're doing at that individual, but too much sarcasm and too much like vague threats against their art in general, like, that can overtake the part of your brain that loves people, because they stop being people at that point. But they have to stay people. You know, if you're a rapper, you know, and you're playing live, like, do crazy shit too. If you're a metal band, you know, or a metalcore band or whatever's playing that fucking hard, like, go do that. That's the one place that you have the permission to be a child again, man. Like, climb shit, break stuff, jump off things, like, eat someone's arm. It doesn't fucking matter, dude. Like, it's just whatever you have, whatever you have to do, you know. God, wouldn't we all just be so much fucking happier if at the end of every day, or at the end of most days, we were able to do that, separate ourselves from our realistic, intense, boring fucking lives, and just be children in a sense, and be use the faculty for love and the capacity for fun that the human brain holds in and of itself as a weapon against the downtrodden way that we're forced to present ourselves, because we lack identity. And I don't know, man. I think that's just where that is, and we're almost procrastinating on it. And procrastination is not laziness. People think it is. Procrastination is stress and anxiety and fear that renders your motivation pointless. It's a separate entity. So, I mean, long story short, let's make it come back. I think we could, at least in a way, even if it's just for us, even if it's just for the people at those specific places, man. Like, people still watch plays written by the Romans. You know, people still read books written by ancient Greeks. Like, art never dies, man. It doesn't have to be what the whole world is doing for it to mean something and to survive. So if people who think about that and feel that way towards it, like, if we don't start using that, we're just gonna fucking blow our heads off, man. Like, you joke about it all the time, and people always have, you know, suicide or getting out of society or whatever. But if we could just fucking take some time, have fun, become people again, and create a society or a world or an ideological system in which happiness is not viewed as a weakness, you know? The world only gets better, man. Each and every one of us. The happier someone else is, the better your life will be, and I can assure you of that. We just have to take responsibility for each other and communicate and it just, that will last forever. You know what I mean? Even if the rock songs don't, or the rock bands, because they probably won't, but that spirit of passion and freedom and that this all started on, that will live forever, or it can. We have to stop allowing our fear to keep us away from starting that process. Because once it starts, it's just going to get better. So, yeah, I guess that's all I really had to say right now. But hold on real quick. I want to show you a magic trick. Actually, I know magic. Hold on. Let's see. All right, check this shit out. Check this shit out. It's like one normal tea bag, Lipton's. Okay. And push it down into the hand. And then, all right. Let's see here. All right, you ready for this? Have a good day. Fuck you. I love you. Fuck.